It's the fuel system cleaner that works. Improve performance and fuel economy with F10 fuel treatment. F10 cleans your entire fuel system, from storage tanks to combustion. Safe to use on old and new cars, trucks, hybrids, farm machinery and boats. In petrol, diesel...
Until midnight, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Yep, Ben Aylett's here to talk technology. BenAylett.com is the website.
That's right.
And he's identified by his Hawaiian shirts and the whole bit. Can't miss those.
Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
By the way, if you'd like to have a chat to him, 922 11882 telephone number. You were the one who tagged me on that post.
Yes.
By
yes, I was.
Nathan Haig. It'll be interesting. We'll actually feed back the audio of the conversation
Yep.
that I had with Tom Percy to him.
Yep.
But one of the things he makes mention of, I've not seen that floating octopus until today.
Okay, yes.
And hang on, and people telling me they're seeing it too.
Yes.
So the root part is going to be nothing to worry about. But the fact I closed it and the phone was already on the phone firmware screen, and also the fact that they had told me they did copy files from both the laptop and the phone away from my person.
Yep.
And that would guarantee the copy files, if they copied them, would be destroyed, and in what time frame. Yep, that is still what I believe to be a massive intrusion into my privacy. What was the octopus of which they spoke?
Okay, there's this thing that tech people like to do called Easter eggs. We like to put fun stuff in that are not documented. They're not easy to find. It's something you've got to work hard to find.
Would it be fair to say perhaps not necessarily an essential part of the whole program either?
It might have a hidden use, like some sort of a diagnostic tool or maybe a diagnostic feature, but that's probably a side effect from the actual bit of fun stuff that the programmers do. So it's mostly useless. Yeah, it's just a fun thing. All right.
So this octopus falls into that category.
It certainly does. Yeah. Now,
Ben showed it to me earlier, by the way.
Yeah. Now, I can go through it again for the people who are watching us on YouTube.
But we're on radio.
You're on radio?
Yeah,
okay.
so.
All right. Well, okay. It is a feature that is basically hidden away under the software details.
Yeah.
And you've got to tap things a few times, and you've got to press and hold a couple of other times. It's no simple task. It's not something you can do by accident, which is the interesting part. So either our friend is having a lend of us, or the border security guys have said, let's mess with him a bit. Let's just enable this little Easter egg and see how he freaks out, which is what I'm guessing has happened.
All right. Mind you, that does pose other questions, doesn't it?
It sure does, yes.
Yeah. Good day, Daniel.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. So,
Go for it.
We're here.
We're listening.
Oh.
I mean, the very idea of perhaps an agent who's responsible for the border electronic controls. I mean, the very fact that they may be messing around with someone's electronics. I mean, that surely in itself is an ethical consideration.
Absolutely.
Yep, no question about that, mate. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And that's just the start of it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we already know. Let me put it to you this way. We already know what happens when you give public service servants unfettered access to things. Inevitably, someone suffers a bad dose of God disease and it all goes pear-shaped.
Well, indeed. And I mean, the metadata laws we have at the moment already allow, I mean, I think there was a police officer recently who was investigating metadata or police records in relation to something like that was happening. But, I mean, the metadata laws at the moment already mean that law enforcement can track people, almost ubiquitously. They really don't have any privacy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And now the fact that to simply cross the borders means that you have to surrender all of your privacy.
Well,
I mean, digital
it doesn't.
now,
It doesn't. Did you hear what Tom Percy said? It doesn't.
Okay.
So what would happen is if somebody wanted to look at your phone, say Customs Border Protection wanted to look at your phone, right, they'd have to place you under arrest.
Right.
Okay, and they'd have to have reasonable suspicion to have placed you under arrest, and that reasonable suspicion itself would get tested by a court.
Indeed.
So
Yep.
what would happen is they couldn't just look at you and go, gee, this bloke looks a bit seedy. We'll take him aside, because at some point somebody would say, well, okay, Daniel, why did you take him aside? And I go, oh, this bloke Daniel looked a bit seedy. No, it doesn't work that way. What was your reason? The fact that somebody doesn't like the way you look is immaterial, Daniel, and that's the point. So therefore they would have to have a reasonable suspicion, this is what Tom Percy just said, that a court would accept. And if you are not under arrest, then they cannot compel you to hand over your phone or your computer.
For now. How long until that is the case? I mean, the United States currently has border security that ensures all electronic devices crossing their borders will be fully inspected, despite where you're from or what have you. Mm-hmm. And
mate, there are other issues, and there are other issues that surround this, such as somebody having commercially sensitive information for a business transaction, such as a lawyer carrying confidential information about their client, which was something I flagged with Tom. I mean, these are the kind of things. And the nature
of that, that happens regularly, I'm sure.
Yeah, now, if somebody violates that, and this is one place in the United States where they love litigation, all it'll take is one person to violate that, and they'll hang them by a tree for it.
Indeed.
Yep.
But I'm just concerned that the politics of this country tends to march towards United States policies. And I'm just concerned that one day perhaps legislation will come forward where that protection that we've discussed previously is no longer there.
Well,
they may have full unfettered access.
Well, one of the problem. Well, you see, the other problem is too that the technology is marching along much faster than the rules that govern it, but also the technology is hiding a hell of a lot from people, because you can do that now.
Yeah,
which is something you couldn't do before. And so what happens, you have a whole raft of people facing a whole raft of technology that can hide stuff in ways that it could never be hidden before. And the problem that they have is that they're unable to, they're finding it harder and harder to grapple with that, because the moment they come up with one thing, somebody else is going to come up with something to counter it. And that tends to be the problem that they run into now, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, pretty much. So the technology can usually stay one step ahead at least of legislation, but
probably about 2 or 3 steps in reality.
Yeah, it's a fair bit down the road, but it does. Just this conversation itself is bringing in, for me, into pretty sharp contrast how we've got to be very careful about allowing this sort of access without sufficient oversight. And thankfully, Mr. Percy was able to sort of put it in pretty clear terms that the process is if you're not under arrest, you are not compelled to give over your information. Now, from my perspective, as a person who's responsible for the information security of a number of my clients, one in particular is a massive client, and they have got large overseas contracts which stipulate some pretty strict information security policies. Seeing this video clip this morning just basically sent a chill down my spine. I could not believe that this was possible. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it actually is, or if it did happen, it was probably outside of what was legal. But putting a business at risk with that sort of power of search and seizure and going over data and handing it over, that could spell hundreds of millions of dollars in lost business.
Yeah, the legal ramifications are pretty scary. Thanks very much for that, Daniel. We'll take some more calls in a moment if you'd like to have a chat to Ben. Gary, you'll be first up. 922 11 882, the number.
If you...
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available helper.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Correct image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something...
On 882 6PR, this is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley.
Ben Aylett's here to talk technology. That is benaylett.com. One
That's right.
L, two T's in Aylett. We'd like to check out his website. That's where you'll also find his contact information.
Yeah.
G'day, Gary.
G'day, Chris. G'day, Ben.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Long time listener to your show, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, look, Ben, I'm talking about mobile coverage. I live in Mirrabooka Village, which is about 1 kilometre from Mirrabooka Shopping Centre.
Yep.
Which there's a mobile phone tower there.
Uh-huh.
I live about 1.5 kilometres from Balga, which is a mobile phone tower there.
Right.
And there's another mobile phone tower in Malaga, which is about 1 kilometre from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yet most of the time, my internet drops out on the phone. Most of the time, I can't call because it won't get through.
Right.
And I can't send a text message because it won't send.
Oh, okay.
And I've run can I mention the provider or not?
Of course you can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm with Optus. I've rung them about 3 times and told them.
Right.
Now, they do a check on the mobile phone tower, and they say it's fine.
Yeah.
But they don't give a check from where I live. And now it's not me, because I have people come here on Telstra. They only have 1 or sometimes a half a bar on their phone.
Oh, geez. Okay. Yep.
And I have 1 bar, quarter of a bar. I'm supposed to have 4G. I have H sometimes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yep.
I'm lucky to have 3G if I'm lucky, and I've got a 4G set up.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, and I've run them several times, and I've just got no joy, so that's why I thought I'd ring you.
Okay. Well, look, it seems like a pretty simple fix from where I am. We've got a pretty poor signal in that area to start with, but at least people on Telstra are able to get things done, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, the answer is simple. Switch to Telstra. Simple as that.
But the Telstra people come here and they're only on 1 bar.
Better than what you're getting, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So overall, I've found in my experience that Telstra have got pretty good coverage, and as far as service goes, the actual service area that they cover, it's pretty extensive, and it usually performs better than the likes of Optus. So I would definitely have a look at Telstra because they really do have a better built network.
Can I keep my same phone number?
Absolutely.
That's one thing you do have, number portability.
Yeah, because I'm vision impaired, so I have to get someone to help me.
Yeah.
My phone's been set up for my eyes.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that might be the only option.
Yeah, you should be able to go into a Telstra store and ask one of the customer service officers there to help you out and say that you want to move your existing service from Optus to Telstra, and they should be able to do what's called a churn.
Yeah, but I see they might do that, but I see, well, how come even with people with Optus are only getting that coverage of 1 bar?
Well, I'm just having a look at, I've just brought up the layout of the Optus mobile phone towers. Yeah. And you're in Mirrabooka, Malaga.
Mirrabooka Village.
Yeah.
Mirrabooka Village. Yeah, which is centred between Malaga.
There's a big hole there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I get shopkeepers in the shopping centre. They actually go outside to send a text message.
Well, the two nearest mobile phone towers to you, the other side of Morley Drive.
There's one in Malaga and there's one in Belga.
They're not Optus towers, mate.
There's the trick. They're not Optus
towers. They're towers. They might be for Vodafone. They might be for Telstra. They might be for somebody else, but they're not Optus towers.
Oh, okay. And what about Mirrabooka Shopping Centre? Is there one there?
Nope.
So I'm getting it from Morley?
Yep, you're getting it either from Morley or from Yokine.
Oh, they told me, Optus told me they're getting it from Mirrabooka Shopping Centre.
I got the Optus cell map up here.
Yep.
And your area, there's actually a gap there. There's one over at Hammersley.
Yep.
Right. There's one the other side of Morley Drive in Nollamara. It's actually nearer to Yokine.
Yep.
And then there's another one between Morley and Dianella.
Okay. Now, if I'm in Belga, you got Belga there?
Yeah, I got Belga. I can see it.
I get full bars on my phone there.
Well, you're getting,
so where's the Belga coming from?
Hammersley.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm in a bit of a black spot.
You are.
You sure are. And if you're on Optus, the black spot is a little bit deeper.
And where's the nearest one from Telstra?
Oh, I've only got the Optus towers up.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a second. I'll see if I can bring Telstra towers up.
I'll be interested to see where Telstra coming from.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, especially based on the experience of other people. Here we go. I think Chris has found something.
Yeah, like the Telstra towers, mate. They've just got so many more. They've got one in Malaga.
Yep.
They've got one in Belga. They've got one in Hammersley. Mate, it just went tong. They've got one in Ballajura, one in Girraween.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, there's your answer, mate.
Obviously, Telstra has said to Optus get stuffed.
Or you can say, sorry, Optus, can't hear you.
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
And that's part of the problem. Thanks very much for that, Gary. Gee, that was amazing swapping between that.
Really? It was
almost like, you know how you have a place that's half lit up and then you have another place where there's no lights?
Yeah.
Well, this one became lit up.
It was like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, it was a bit. G'day, John.
Awesome.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
Very well, John. What's up, mate?
Just ringing in to give a big thanks to you guys for a bit of information you gave me a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
About the telecom ombudsman.
Yep.
I've been having trouble with my NBN since they hooked me up in September of last year.
Yeah.
It went through months and months of talking to both Telstra and the NBN.
Mm.
And when I finally made the phone call after talking to you guys,
yes,
they were very helpful. To your listeners out there, if you're having problems with the telcos, the ombudsman. I told them what my problem was. They said, had I got in contact with my telcos? I said, yes, I have. They said what the problem was. I told them with it. They gave me a reference number. It was the beginning of the month. They gave me a date, middle of the month, said, if nothing has been done by that date, you give us a call back.
Nice.
I got to tell you guys, within the next 2 weeks, I had 6 technicians come through my house. 3 Telstra, 3 NBN technicians, and within 2 weeks, they had finally figured out the problem.
Well, there you go.
And it all came down.
Fantastic.
I got to say to your listeners, the telecom ombudsman, they're the best taxpaying dollars we've ever forked out for.
Good stuff.
Well,
good to know about it.
Good to hear.
Thank you very much for that, John. Appreciate your call too.
Yeah.
By the way, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben, 922 11882, our telephone number.
I'm Gareth Parker from the morning program where I asked
You might wonder how blind people deal with everyday challenges. Well, normally the answer is simple. We're not that different from you. We play music. We go to school. We go to work. You get the picture. But sometimes the simplest things can be difficult, and we need a pair of eyes.
Connect to first available helper.
That's where you come in.
Establishing video connection.
Through your smartphone, Be My Eyes connects the blind with sighted people through a live video connection. Simply choose if you need help or want to help by the click of a button.
That's a nice picture of you and your family, Caroline. Is it for a present? Yes, it's a photo from my parents.
You can help just by installing the Be My Eyes app.
Print image.
And we'll notify you when someone needs your help. And if you're in the middle of something, don't worry. Someone else will step in.
That dog is way too old.
So, would you care to be my eyes?
This is Perth Tonight with Chris Ilsley on 882 6PR.
Ben Aylett's here to talk technology. By the way, if you'd like to have a chat to Ben, you can do that, of course. 92211882 is our telephone number. And don't forget, Ben's website is benaylett.com. 1 L, 2 T's, and Aylett makes it simple.
Yep.
Look out for the man with the Hawaiian shirt. By the way, got an SMS. Now I've hex decoded it. It's amazing how many people send me stuff in hex code on the SMS. Lucky I've got a hex decoder. Anyway, it says, "Hi, Chris and Ben. I received an email today on my work computer in the junk mail section.
Right.
It was very rude in nature with regards to strange sex. We can all use our imagination. Is this a scam, and do I delete it ASAP?" I think it probably means to say, is it more like malware? Is it a scam? Well, if it asks you for money, it probably is. However, it's more likely to carry some sort of infectious malware like Open Here and, you know.
Yeah. All right. Now, the way we can tell the difference between a scam and malware with a pretty simple test. A scam, as you say, the hook is send me money for this service or not service, or for me to do something or not do something. It's basically a send me money thing. Malware is when it asks you to open a document or click a link or do a particular thing, which will then do more things on your computer.
See, I have a rule, never click a link.
That's a very, very good rule.
Now, what happens if somebody says, well, okay, I'm not going to click a link, but I will manually type a link in? Is that also potentially a trap?
Yeah. If the link is something like facebook.com and you just type in facebook.com, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a trusted link.
No, I'm talking about a link that comes off one of these pages and they think, oh, I'm not sure if it's dodgy or not. So instead of clicking the link, I'll type the link in manually. The net result would still be the same, wouldn't it?
It's still the same. Yeah. So if it's a dodgy looking link, don't click on it. Don't type it in. Just don't. It may satisfy your curiosity, but you won't like the end results.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit like red buttons of old.
Oh yeah, yep.
Red button.
For a minute there, I thought you red buttons on a shirt, but no.
No. Red button. So you're looking over and you're going red button.
You've got a few red buttons.
Red
over there
button.
As well. Yeah.
Let's press it. I don't know why. It's a thing of human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just got to do it. Look at that. But it might blow the joint. Yeah, but I just got to find out.
Yes.
Let's press the red button.
Yeah, it's that reverse psychology thing. So if I was to say, don't think about porcupines, I can guarantee you around about 30 to 40% of our audience right now is thinking about porcupines.
And the other 30% saying you're being such a prick.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Troy has emailed. He said, Chris and Ben, have you read recently about Google being caught out tracking people even when they've turned off tracking?
Mm-hmm.
It would appear that Google's old motto of do no evil now seems to be do not get caught.
Well, okay, it was a miscommunication in Google saying what was happening, what was not happening. So turning off location tracking disables a few things that Google is good at. So things like maps and actually functions that use your location. So if you turn it off, it is going to disable a few features on your Google services. So you've really got to weigh it up. Personally, I love using Google Maps. Yeah. I find it's great. It helps me with the traffic times and everything, so I know when I've got to leave in order to be somewhere.
Do you know something? I've got to admit here, I'm still quite happy with my Garmin.
Okay, yeah, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Regular updates, got all the information you could possibly want in it. I just reckon it's great. G'day, Adam.
G'day, how you going?
Good.
Very
Good.
well,
What
Adam.
can we do for you, mate?
I've just recently been ordering some things online and then getting random SMSs from Australia Post, but one of them was on a Sunday where I don't think they deliver. So it comes up with with the company that I ordered it from, and then it comes up with a weird link that I haven't access to. I just wanted to know whether that's a scam or not. It seemed like a scam.
Yep.
So I didn't access the SMS.
Yeah.
But then
can I give
the
you for what
company
it's worth? Non-technical answer. This is always my philosophy, Adam. It's quite simple. When in doubt, leave it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
that's not
but then I
bad
rang up the company and they said, well, maybe they do deliver on Sunday. So it was quite weird. And then it was delivered to me today, and I spoke to the guy that delivered it to me. I said, do you deliver on Sundays? He said, no, not at all.
Okay, well, there you go. You've done the old detective work, and it's come up with the goods. You've done well.
No, done well, mate. Good on you. Yeah, it drives you nuts, though, sometimes. See, the trouble is now you got to the point where you don't know what you can trust.
Yeah.
See, isn't it, isn't it PayPal in the US faced a fair amount of flack because they were the ones who arguably were facilitating scammers or weren't doing enough to stop them? And the US government decided to act and said, listen, you blokes have got to do something to shut these people down.
Yeah. Guilt by association is a hard thing to shake. It is a problem. So if you make a service that's really easy and just simple to use and it just pervades every corner of life, bad people are going to use it and you're going to have that bad publicity to fight.
Yeah, it's the problem. G'day, Glenn.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good, mate.
Chris, right, Ben, you were just talking about strange emails.
Yes.
Now, if I get an email, which I don't recognise where it's come from, if I open it up just to have a look to see what it says, is there a problem with doing that? Obviously, I'm quite aware of not clicking on any link that will take me somewhere else and could be pretty nasty.
Yep.
But to open up the email and have a look, would there be a problem with that?
It is an extremely low risk. That something would happen just by reading the contents of an email. The risk goes up significantly when we start clicking on links or opening attachments. So just reading an email, in 99.9% of the cases, you're safe.
Yeah. I do recall quite a few years ago there was an email was sent worldwide and it was titled, I love you, or something like that.
It's the Melissa virus. Yep.
What was it? Melissa virus?
Apparently a huge amount of people got caught out as soon as they opened up this email.
Yep.
So that's why I'm sort of thinking, well, should I open up these ones I don't recognise with the fear of something like that?
Yeah.
I love you email, which has a lot of problems.
Mate, unless it comes from your wife, leave it alone. Apart from anything else, it will get you into trouble.
Yeah.
That I
may
love
be,
you, Sorry.
That may be one of those 0.5% of the emails which can be nasty if you open them.
Yeah. Now, that I Love You virus, that still only worked if you opened the attachment. That was still an attachment. Yes. Yes. So
okay.
It was usually sent like a...
What was it? Just good old-fashioned malware, was it?
Yeah. Good old-fashioned virus.
Yeah.
And I'll have to do some research again, but I think from memory that was a really serious one. And I think that gave rise to the NIMDA virus, which was, I think, one of the very first weaponized sort of state-backed attacks, as cyber attacks.
Which state?
Which state?
Was it Ruskies?
Can't say. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I don't think it was the Russians at that time. I think it was maybe the United States in conjunction with Israel or some other ally.
Oh, beauty! We can blame the CIA and Mossad. How cool is that, mate? Yeah. I feel a movie coming on as we speak.
Oh, look! If you want to do movies about cyber attacks and cyber terrorism and all the politics behind it, we've got a wealth of information already.
Mate, we've so got to have a movie. Man, what do you reckon? What do you reckon, Glenn? Movie?
Well, you can make all sorts of movies out of this sort of stuff.
Oh, mate, this could be fun.
Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So basically, I'll be pretty safe opening up the email just to see what it says and what's in it.
Yep. Well, just one word of warning. If you ever do want to open up those emails, just read them without touching the attachments or links. Always, always, always make sure you have got all your updates up to date. So all of your Windows updates are applied. If you're using Office, make sure all of your Office 365 security patches are installed. Just make sure the automatic updates are on.
Yeah, it makes sense. Should do that anyway. Good on you. Thanks very much for that, Glenn. And Ben, thank you very much for that.
Well, there we go. Another week.
Time does fly when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Oh, well, looks like I'll be seeing you again next Monday.
Indeed. Certainly plenty of stuff happening. By the way, your phone number too, by the way, if we'd like to get in contact with you.
Oh, that's 0419 965 196.
Say it again.
0419 965 196.
You got to learn to say it like this. Say it again. Go on, say it again. I'll show you.
0419
0419
965
965
196. Sorry, no, 196.
Beautiful.
There we go.
All right, mate. We'll chew the fat next week.
No worries. Catch you then.
By the way, don't forget Ben's website, which is quite simple, benailitz.com.
Dell Small Business Technology Advisors know there's nothing small about your business. That's why Dell offers one.